Welcome to Costume Construction 1 Distance Learning for the class for April 20th, 2020. We are finally going to be starting on our epic and final project, the pajama pants, actor-size pajama pants, made for an actor, in this case, you. So before we get started on that, I just want to have a couple of words of introduction and a little bit of background information. So as I mentioned earlier in this semester, commercial patterns can be very, very helpful if you don't have a lot of time and you don't have a lot of skills, and yet you've been hired to put on a show. So let's say you're doing summer stock theater and you have to do like one show a week. Your patterns will come in very handy. Or if you've been hired to do children's theater and you have like 60 kids, they all have to wear pajama pants for a Bible show, then you can get a pattern and you can make those pants very, very quickly. So, life of the theater, huh? How to make costumes quickly using a commercial pattern. So here again is our lovely Simplicity Pattern 8802. But I just wanted to have a quick talk about other patterns that you can also get. So I just want to show you a couple of quick images that you can get commercially that have the same instructions that you're going to be following for your pajama pants. There are two other commercial pattern companies. One's called Butterick and one's called McCall's. So you will see those labels on the pattern envelopes as well. Going from pajama pants, you can get to 18th century breeches. So that's going to be a similar pattern, just a different treatment around the knees. And here are more breeches. You can get hired or commissioned to make like a Revolutionary War reenactment costume. But again, those are the same process you can use to make breeches like this. And if you want to take your breeches one step farther, here's a Renaissance pants. So again, using a commercial pattern, you can make an excellent pair of pumpkin hose, which is what they're called on the right, although those are drastically simplified. And then there's always Ren Fair costumes that you can make, or if you're doing a Shakespeare play, then these costumes you can put together commercially by following the instructions too. And of course, no Ren Fair would be complete without a serving wench, so you can get patterns for that as well. And then moving on to kids, let's see, this one looks like it's kind of your generic Aladdin and a genie in a bottle and a wizard. So these come in children's sizes if you're ever doing children's theater. And then of course, everybody always needs a Bible play. And so here you can get various togas and tunics, and it's for children of varying sizes. So before we take apart our pattern envelope, there's a certain amount of information that the pattern envelope holds. Obviously it holds the number, the description, and a picture of these pajamas. And in this case there are two styles. It's just general pajamas, and then this set of pajamas has like a little stripe at the bottom and at the cuffs. So we're going to be doing this set of pajamas up here. But in addition to this information, there's a lot of valuable information in the back. So you need to take a look at the back of your envelope, and what you want to do is compare your size to the size that the pattern offers so that you know what size pattern you're going to be using. So for example, and we're not going to look at the boys' stuff because children are usually like 4'8". So even if your hips are really tiny, the whole pajama pants are still going to be too small for you. So we're going to be looking at the men adult size. So I, for example, fit into the XL category right here. So I'm going to be cutting out the XL men's pants for me. But you might have medium or small or large. So you have to take your hip measurement and you have to compare it to what size that is. I'm going to actually circle this because I want to remember exactly what size I am. So that's me, XL. Here's another reminder on how to take your hip measurements. You took them in the beginning of the semester and you may have transferred that information, but I didn't see any in your bins when I mailed you the contents of your bins. So here's another reminder on how to take your hip measurements. So you put your feet together, you locate the correct area of your hips, which is basically the widest point around your butt. And then you take the tape measure and you measure the circumference. So you can follow these instructions, and that way you'll get an accurate hip measurement. And here's a close-up of the pattern envelope that I was gesticulating wildly in front of the camera of what you need to look at on the envelope to find your correct size. So if you're an extra small, your hip measurement is 31 to 32 and a half, small, medium, large, or extra large. So I don't think any of you are larger than a 49-inch circumference for your hip. So you'll fall within that range. If your hips happen to be smaller than 31 inches, just go with the extra small size because your pajama pants will just be slightly roomier that way. So now we're going to take the pattern and the instructions out of our envelope. So you're going to have all this beige tissue paper, and that's our pattern. It's actually the pattern for men and boys, 4 sizes each, pajama top and pajama bottom. So they use tissue paper because you can crumple it up really, really tight and yet still have a whole bunch of pages. It's like phyllo dough. And then here are our instructions. So the instructions are the first thing that we're going to look at. So you can unfold it, and it's 2 very large pages, and the pages are printed on both sides. So up here it says 1 of 4, and this is our first page. And it gives you the overall look of the item that you're sewing, and then it goes into more details. And then page 2, and then page 3, and page 4 are all instructions. So we're going to look at those instructions with more details before we tackle the pattern piece. So I'm going to show you step by step what page 1 of the instructions look like. Starting on the upper left corner, here are the views of the pajamas. There's an adult man and a child or boy size, and they come in 2 different styles. A is just a solid color pajama, but B has attached cuff pieces, so that affects the shape of the pants, and we're not going to use that. So we're going to be going with style A. Next we have, moving on, what do the different pattern pieces consist of? Let's see, we are going to be focusing just on the pants, and I've decided we're going to be including the pockets in these pants. Everybody needs pockets. So we're going to be looking here at 9, 10, and 11. So that's the pants front is 9, 10 is the pants back, and 11 is the pants pocket. Moving over to the right side of the upper corner of page 1 are some general directions. And so they're very helpful, but for me the most helpful ones are over here. That arrow is going to be the grain of the fabric, and you're going to find that on your pattern piece. And you have to line that arrow up with the up and down direction of your fabric. And then the other important thing are these notches. The notches you're going to be cutting in order to line up the backs and the fronts of your pattern pieces when they're fabric. You had pencil notches on your miniature version. So the second page is all about how to put together the pajama top. So we can disregard page 2 of our instructions. And then moving on to page 3 of our instructions, half of it is finishing up the pajama top, and then the sweet spot is here on the right side of page 3. This is going to have all of our instructions on how to put together our pajama pants. And then on the back of page 4 right here, it shows you how to end it. So those are the 2 pages that we're mostly interested in.